larger than life. He'll give you strife. He's Todd. He's tall, he's mean. He's labeling machine. He's Todd. Rides a motorbike. He'll tell you what it's like. He's Todd. Don't know what he'll say. He'll scare the kids away. He's Todd. He's Todd.
Thursday, I'm back. All right, I'm back from Bixie. I hope you all been watching the Bixie episodes and little clips I made from Bixie. I've actually got 4 or 5 more to put up there. And I think I just put Mr. Chuck Bowser's video up there. And we'll talk about Chuck in a little bit. But I want to welcome to the show Mr. Jason Leaman. Say hello, Jason.
Hello, everybody. Jason from Jason's Lab. Woo!
You're supposed to say hello, Jason.
Okay, hello, Jason.
There you go. All right. So obviously we're both in the industry, and you know there's some commonality here amongst us. But how we ended up meeting is I got a note from Jason one day asking about brother printers, and after I told him I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, I didn't hear from him for a few more days, but I think he figured it out. But anyway, he had some questions, right? And so I just don't randomly send printers to anybody, right? So I looked into a little bit of what Jason was doing, and I'm like, man, this guy's all over the place, you know, which is good. It's good. But we're going to talk a little bit about what Jason does. And by the way, Jason's up in Canada, but my same time zone. So he's on the Pacific Standard Time Zone. All right. And, but nonetheless is that we both share a great passion for low voltage. And, but again, Jason runs a gamut, and Jason, I think your head should be so big, it's ready to explode right now with all the accolades I'm giving you. But if you wouldn't mind, tell us a little bit about your background and kind of what you do, and then let's talk some tools, man. All right, so the floor is yours for a minute.
I've been in the IT industry since 1996, and I got thrown into doing wiring and stuff like that. And my passion is to help repair people's networks / get them up and running, and or even from scratch, to do it properly. And doing wiring on the side, doing some stuff, helping people out. I just like making it look nice. And I came across a couple of videos. I think it was one of yours first. And I said, you know, I really want a labeler that makes things look not just professional, but also so the next person that comes behind me to understand what they're looking at. Like they can pull out the cable and go, yeah, this is what it is. Or they go behind the cable, this is what it is. Or the patch panel, this is what it is. And I couldn't find anything on the market that did it. But all the examples that had led up to me to buy this device helped me do that. So that's why I went out and bought this device, because it could do everything easily and make my life easier.
Let me step in just for a second there, and you said the that 3-letter word, buy, and so yeah, Jason went out and he bought his own printer, and I've actually been teasing him with sending him some tapes to try out for some time. By the way, they're in the mail. They're somewhere between here and Canada. But yeah, Jason went out and he purchased this thing, and then at that point, I thought, man, this guy's pretty serious. So anyway, you know, as far as your tools and within the labs, you know, obviously we share. I see something in common. Let me block the yellow one, but right there behind me, all right, you can see he's got a bunch of, he's got a bunch of blue on his desk.
A whole bunch of blue tools. Team Blue, yeah.
Yeah, all right. So, you know, you in your labs, And I've seen some of your videos. I look at your pictures and your befores and afters and how you're doing things. Tell me a little bit about some of the tools that you test. I only want to hear the good things. Let's not talk negative about our, any. This is a positive show. Well, most of the time. But anyway, and I told Jason before the show, I said, no cussing.
No cussing.
And so we got all the F words and everything out before the show. In fact, I should have recorded that. It would have been a great blooper. So anyway, let's. I'm interested because I really don't know. What do you do in Jason's lab?
Well, Jason's lab is, I take all kinds of tools. In my doing this for the last 2 years, we both know that there's no such perfect tool. You can go from any brand on the market, and every one of them does something different. You can't go to one brand and say it's the best. It's going to do everything for you, because there's always something that's going to be different on another one, where it either works better or it acts different, right? So having a whole slew of tools actually helps you with the job. The purpose of my YouTube channel, because I do networking and tools, is coming from an amateur or somebody who's never used the tool before. I want to explain and show people how to use the tool if you've never used it. People will go out on YouTube and go, oh, how do I use this? Exactly like how I did with this. I've never used the tool. I reached out to you and said, hey, I want to do this. I want to do an amateur showing people how to do stuff from the basics to the more advanced stuff. People want that. They don't want to know how to do all the advanced stuff when they can't get to the advanced stuff from the beginning stuff, right? So my whole channel is devoted to showing you the basics, the stuff that gets cut out, to the more advanced stuff. And it's working well. That's my whole purpose. I don't want to look like a professional on the other end, because there's a lot better people out there to do this stuff than me.
Trust me, there's nothing professional, or at least looking professional, on the show.
Yeah.
All right. And I think that's the beauty of this show. And by the way, there is a perfect tool. My wife calls me a perfect tool. Now,
mine calls me other things, but we said we're not allowed to cuss on here. So.
And we're polar opposites. I cuss like a sailor, and she doesn't. So again, oil and water sometimes do mix. But so I do remember in the beginning days when you got the printer, we were messaging back and forth, and you were asking just basic questions. Hey, how do you do this, and how do you do that? And
I'll interrupt you there for a second. I would say that the best support I've ever had was from you for that. And I mean, you probably get lots of people messaging you and going, oh, what's this stuff? And you probably get tired of it. But I've never had a one-to-one question like that. You know what I mean? I asked you a simple thing. You just helped me. I was like, wow.
Have you been, okay, because other people are going to see this. So number one, truthfully, have you been paid or compensated for the statement you just said?
Zero. Like you said in the beginning, I bought my own tool, and I went out and bought my own cartridges that are over there in the case for this thing. I did not get paid to say that. It was.
Well, and because my boss is going to come back and basically say I'm greasing my guests. So anyway,
no, 100%.
So we went, and you started playing with that thing, and then you were kind of the perfect test dummy, and I mean that in a good way, right?
Good.
For this app that I've been working on and putting together. And so I debuted the app at Bixie, and it went over really well, right? And you were playing with the app. And for those of you out there that don't know, we have our new Pro Label tool. And essentially, I'm not going to give it any more sales pitch other than saying anything that you can do on the printer, you can do on your phone.
Faster.
On the app.
Faster.
And faster. Yeah, and faster. So it kind of goes into this new breed of younger folks getting in the industry. You're still somewhat of a young guy. Us old farts are kind of going by the wayside. And again, I'm a touchy-feely kind of guy where I want to pick up a hammer. I want to pick up a printer and feel the buttons and stuff like that. But with the new generation, man, they've been babysat by one of these, by this thing. I mean, look, this is Look what I mean, all of this is what it's all about, right? And so the app is about, right? The app is about that, all right?
Yeah.
And productivity. And so I would venture to say, and I'm not trying to plant anything, but I would venture to say that some of your testing, you find ways to be more productive. Because again, if you can share productivity tips and tricks to your audience out there, it helps everyone,
Yeah.
right? Save money, make more money, stuff like that. So
It all comes down to that same phrase that my dad's been telling me when I was born: time is money.
time is money.
Time is money.
Actually, I was going to tell you what my dad used to tell me, but I told you we can't cuss on the air. All right.
That could be your blooper right there.
Well, yeah, it could be. But anyway, so you test a whole plethora. That's a big word for me. All right. And it's on camera. So you test an entire plethora. Do you want to tell the folks out there what you test? And we talked a little bit of brother, and maybe we'll talk a little bit more on it. But outside of the blue sitting on your desk and the orange sitting on your desk, what other kind of tools are you out there putting through the ringer?
Well, I just got this tool that I'm just learning how to play with. The Klein. It's got a toner and a generator in it. But the reason why I got this one is because it does digital. The Trend Networks don't do digital. They only do analog. And you can't plug this one into a PoE switch. It just says, nope, can't do it. Detects power. Doesn't work. Whereas the Klein one does. I got another tool under my desk here from Softening. That tool works great too. I have tools from Jonard. So when I circle back to not one tool is perfect for every job, I take multiple tools with me and different brands and stuff like that, because nobody out there makes the Swiss Army in one package. So when you go to job sites, I got a brother tool, I got a Trend Networks tool, I may have a different toner, I have different cutters, I have Jonard stuff, all mixed to match. And at the end of the day, the selective tools that you've picked to help you get your job done from A to B perfectly for your client is what matters, right? And that's why when it comes down to it, I picked out my brother tool because I watched a lot of videos and it does exactly what I wanted to do. And it works with the other products.
Well, no, I can't argue that point. I mean, that's kind of what I sell these days. So let me ask you this. You mentioned you had a YouTube site. Now, after you'll test a tool, will you put these up on your YouTube site, your evaluations and so forth and whatnot?
Like to sell or to like
No, just your not to sell. That's my job. To any type of let's say you're testing a brother printer. All right, let's say you're testing some Trend Network stuff. Are you taking those evaluations, your evaluations, and are you putting it out there to the masses?
Yes, it goes on my YouTube channel. Yeah, 100%.
All right, and what is that YouTube channel, if you don't mind?
Jason's Lab.
Wow. All right. So, and what we'll do is at the end of this, I'll throw up some information if folks want to contact you. All right. For anything they want to contact you about, for God's sake.
Reviewing tools and stuff like that. If they want me to say, hey, we're going to send you this tool and you want to review it, I give my honest opinion. I tell people I appreciate if people would give me the tool so I can do it, which doesn't have any influence on the tool. But I show people, basically, I've never seen your tool before. I'm going to read your manual. I'm going to try it. I'm going to show you where I'm failing. And I'm going to show you what I made a mistake on. And I'm going to leave it in the video because that shows the next person that's probably going to buy the tool what it's going to be like for them too. And that's what people want to see. They don't want to see perfection out of something that's scripted. You know what I mean? They want to see where somebody's going to make the same mistakes because they're going to make the same mistakes.
And that's why people watch this show, right? Because it's not scripted and they're looking for me to make mistakes.
I mean, right?
Well, obviously. And that's why people keep coming back is because of that. Because, I told you before we started this, Everything is just shoot from the hip, fly by the seat of your pants. I've never done one show. This is episode 80, whatever, 88, I think. We've never had a script. And, it seemed to work so far. So with that being said, all right, and again, I'll post all your stuff after this.
Appreciate that.
The one common denominator. All right, let me back up. So the reason why I am sending you tapes is you were kind enough to go out and you purchased your own damn printers. I thought, that's pretty cool.
I don't regret doing it.
Yeah.
One of the best
So that's
tools
pretty
about,
cool.
So.
Yeah. Yep. So one of the common denominators, right, that we have with a lot of your tools and your testing equipment you see there and so forth and whatnot is that at the end of the day, right, you're certifying that cable, you're certifying that port, you're certifying, whatever it needs a damn label, right?
You can have all the ports on the wall working just fine, but the person that comes in behind you to plug something in, if they don't know where it goes, you're coming back to do the work again because they don't know where plugs are here.
I tell you, some people get it and some people don't. And I got to tell you, folks, is that this is what I've been screaming at ever since I was a contractor in Texas, is that, in fact, I made a lot of money. I'm not going to mention who it was. I think they're still around, but I used to follow this company in Texas after their jobs because I knew their labeling was going to be crap. And so obviously the end user wouldn't call them back because of the crap work they did, but I'd be knocking in that door and basically saying, I can fix this for you. Mm-hmm. That's when, I started realizing how much money the next guy could make, right, off of fixing these problems. But I also realized how much money you can lose by not being asked back for any Mac work or any other work if you don't do the job right the first time.
Yeah.
And you hit the nail on the head. It's what I've been preaching for years now. Is get in there, get it done right the first time. All right. Because there's going to be a problem. And God forbid the IT guy, finds that there's bad labeling. So just do it right the first time, because it does cost a lot of money to go back in. It causes a lot of headaches. Can you imagine some poor kid, new on the job, and he says he's got a trouble ticket to go shoot port 801-01. Imagine if that is labeled wrong and he pulls that plug out. He pulls the patch cord out thinking that's the node he's working on. There's a down node, but guess what? It was labeled wrong. And you just pulled down the node, the PC of the CEO of the company. This stuff happens. It happens.
It sure does. It does all the time. And then who's going to come screaming down the stairs into where you're sitting and go, what are you doing? And I'm like, hey, the port says this. That's what I'm told to do. But
no, I you know what? And this stuff, again, you hit the nail on the head. You're out there working in the field. I used to work for a living, right, in the business, infrastructure. And so I've gone through the whole gamut and have gone through those scenarios, even with my guys.
Yeah.
So the whole point is get it done right the first time, get in, get out, turn in your submittals and get paid. And a little thing like a label being in the wrong position, man, that can hold everything up. So no, thank you for helping me get that out there to the masses, because it's an absolutely true scenario.
Labeling is everything nowadays. And a long time ago, if you think about it, the older labels that we used to get and use and stuff like that, and yeah, you labeled it. We didn't have the technology to have heat shrinking on cables. We didn't have proper wiring wrapping. People were using felt marks and stuff. I mean, back then, a label's a label back then, but now we have the technology to do it properly. And if you're a little bit more experienced in doing them, it just comes naturally. Like you have a process in your mind how to crimp the keystone, put the heat shrink on there and label it, put it in the rack. And that just comes naturally after a little while. And then once you keep doing that, you're just winning all the way. So it maybe the first time you do it may take you 20 minutes. Okay, but the next time you do it may take you 5 minutes, and then after
Right.
that, it just goes faster and faster. So as it comes back
Well,
around, time is money.
so here's you mentioned old school. This is
Oh,
actually
great.
my
Oh man, yeah,
now true story. So this was actually one of, and this is a brother machine.
yeah,
But what we used to do in the old days is we did a lot of out of town work, and so we'd go down to the local big box store, right? And you can pick these up for $29 or something
yeah.
like that. And you know the tapes were god awful. They're paper tapes. They're called M tapes. In fact, like geez, look at that. Anyway, so what we do is we would take this out to the job site in front of a patch panel, right? And we go A01 space 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 A02 space 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 space. You put it up on the patch panel, it doesn't frickin' fit. So then you go back, and I'm telling you, to this day, Jason, there are still companies out there using this machine, right?
Yeah.
And they may be using sheet labels for their cable wraps and blah blah blah, but faceplates and patch panels, they're still utilizing this. And again, our job, my job, and your job now, based upon what you were talking about, is to educate people not to use this.
No,
Not you know,
for the price
there's
that
no
I
way.
paid for my brother labeler, and how easy it is to take the little plastic card out of the case, put it on the rack that's there already, measure it, put it into this, and then just start labeling away. Yeah, that piece right there. I mean, it's a game changer.
Yeah. Well, and no, I appreciate the accolades, man. And again, folks, this is coming from somebody who, you know, was curious and went out and had the fortitude to buy his own machine and you know try this thing out. And he's watched a bunch of our training videos and it seems to work so far. And that's one of the reasons why you know I wanted to invite you on the show as well because not only and I love to talk industry as a whole. You know, it's not all about labeling. I get tired of hearing myself talk about labeling all the time. It's ridiculous. I still love the industry. And so the fact that you are basically testing the vast majority of the tools involved in infrastructure, right? And the whole process, man, that's awesome. I love it.
Mhm.
Absolutely love it. So hats off to you, man. I think it's absolutely fantastic. And keep up the good work. You know,
I try.
um, anything else come to mind? Anything that I may have forgotten?
No, I don't think so. I think you did a great job. Good questions, good answers. I mean, anybody that wants to buy a tool that makes their life easier for the amount of money this is, I
Uh,
mean, you buy it, put it in the van, wherever you go, treat it with some respect, and it'll be with you until you go to the grave.
so one of the things we may want to do is right. I'm the good Lord. I'm the so-called expert uh, in labeling, and you know, but when people call me, they're getting you know my perspective, and it's all easy for me. You know, just bam, 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 bam. So what you may want to think about, folks out there, is that if you're interested in any of the tools that Jason tests, including my PTE 550W, call Jason directly. You know, and get his 2 cents because again, you know, I'm paid by brother, I'm sponsored by brother, you know, and Jason's just a cool data dude, man. And so if you want to get a real life perspective from a guy who from opening the box to putting the tape in the first time to powering up the machine the first time and get to the level of where he's at, where he can use the app and so forth. Call him, right? Email him. Get on his YouTube channel because he'll not only talk some brother with you. I'm sure that if you have questions about anything else that he does sitting on his desk, or if you want Jason to try something, again, he brings real world value to not only what he has, but anything that you may want him to try out, And Jason's an honest guy so far. Um, and he'll give you his opinion. I mean, I guarantee he'll give you his opinion. So am I correct, Jason? Am I all right? Okay.
I just want to give the experience to people that want to try the tool and what they're going to get when they try to do it, because everybody can read the manual. Some people will not grasp the manual. So my job is to try that tool for somebody, show you how I made out with it, and then you decide.
Yeah, don't read our manual. I mean, I can't. I've been.
I don't even
I
know where I
still.
put your manual. Dog ate it.
I've never. I tried once, and it's kind of the reason why I didn't make it past page 2 of the Bible. It just I didn't understand a lot of it. So a lot of the learning process is based upon there's a lot of videos out there for what we do. I'm sure Jason's got a lot of videos for not only what he does with my stuff, but some of the other stuff he does. So I'm a visual learner, right?
100%. 100%.
Yep.
One of my very first videos on my channel I did, somebody said, I'm glad you did this video because I read the manual on the wiki of how to do this exact same thing and I couldn't grasp it. I watched your 2-minute video and I grasped it 100%. So as you pointed, you just nailed it on the head there. Some people are visual learners. Some people are book smart learners, right? We're human.
Yeah,
So everybody learns it a different way.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I couldn't have said it any better.
Yep.
Really, I could not have said that any better. So anyway, with that being said, we're approaching the half-hour mark, and you know what? I can sit here and just BS with you for forever, man. Just about the industry as a whole. I still keep up with some of the current trends, obviously, and the reason why I do that is you got to label stuff, and you've got new stuff coming out. You got thinner cable coming out. You got the new skinny, Cat 6A coming out, which affects us, in our settings inside the printer. Well, there you got some right there. Okay.
I got a little one.
Well,
These are my favorite cables, but I don't know about you, but I can't write on a felt marker with that, so that's probably going to get some kind of label tag on there.
some knucklehead will. Trust me, and we can talk for an hour on and Sharpies and liability with Sharpies, and no, I understand, but again, I was Bixby, the single pair Ethernet, that was coming up, and it's like, wow, that's a very skinny cable. And how is labeling going to relate to that? Am I going to have to go flags? Am I going to have to augment the cable wrap? So again, it's important for me.
What about fiber? Those lines are even smaller. So
heat shrink, man, heat shrink. I'm telling you right now.
I really want to try heat shrink, and it's one of the things I want to try on this unit because I saw that because I do other wiring, and 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 I know that when you put a heat shrink on there, it's not going to rub off, or it's not going to, somebody will be able to read it 10 years down the road because it didn't hit light or something like that, right? Or somebody moved it. So
what people do now for folks that, and most of you have seen it, when you pop that door open on, an LIU or a fiber box, you typically see flags.
Yeah.
And I hate flags. Well, hate's a strong word. I dislike flags immensely because, they all do this, right? And it looks like garbage. And then they start sticking to each other. And then what does the tech do? He reaches in there and he tries to move that flag a little bit, and he could potentially pull out that fiber connector, the fiber jumper. So, the heat shrink, in fact, I just I built a 2-foot rack. RXL gave me a rack, and then some other folks, and so I did this heat shrink on this fiber, and people loved it.
Yeah.
And it was just a loose tube. If I need to re-terminate, well, I just pull this identifier back, I re-terminate, and when I'm done, I put it back in position. So we're starting to sell a lot of the heat shrink for fiber applications where you don't want to use flags. Now, do we still do flags? Yes. Do I recommend using flags? No. And so, you're an honest sales guy when you're telling the public, hey, listen, we got it, but there's better ways of doing things. And so with your care package, you're actually going to get our new 3-to-1 shrink ratio. Now, again, on fiber, that makes no difference whatsoever. But you'll get some of that to play around with. And try scorching it. There's something. Use a blue flame, a good test, right? And not a lot of people know this because I did outside plant for a while, and I get my fat butt down into a manhole, right? And there's no electricity out there.
No.
And you can use the crack
Pocket, you grab your old Zippo lighter and
yeah, use the blue. If you run it through the blue flame, it won't scorch the blue flamer. All right. And some of you guys are going to recognize the reference I just made with the blue flamer, but nonetheless, that's not cussing.
Nope.
That's not cussing.
It's safe.
Right?
You're safe.
All right. But anyway, so when you do get this stuff, what I'd like to see is try and scorch it for me. All right. And I'm sure at some point it will scorch, but it's pretty cool stuff, pretty stout stuff. Anyway, try it when you get it. All right. So again, we really don't have to cut it off at a half an hour, but I'm getting cotton mouth because I've been talking so damn much. But one of the things we'll do after this is I'm going to put up your contact information with your YouTube channel information. In fact, I may just do a nice little QR code for you if you don't have one. The other thing is, what I want, hi to Chuck Bowser, right? And the Rat Pack or whatever, we all talk, and Chuck's got his own show, and then you've got your thing, and I got my thing going, and we've all appeared on Chuck's show, and Chuck's appeared on.
Spoiler alert! I'm going to be appearing next week.
Well, there you go. We travel in paths.
We travel.
And there's just a lot of experience with that, and the cool thing is that, Chuck's an old fart. I'm getting up there in age, but he's much older, right?
Oh, my battery ran out. Hold on.
No, I see it. You're fine.
Yeah, my battery died.
No, don't cuss. I can still hear you.
Okay, it takes me 2 seconds to change this battery.
That's fine. I got 2 seconds for you. Maybe I can sing for the audience.
Woohoo! What song are we doing?
No. You don't want you don't want that. Anyway, well, Jason's back.
Well, that's
there.
embarrassing because my battery was fully charged.
You know what?
It's because I was talking to Chuck before you.
No. No. That's. I got to tell you, this is a first. This is a first. Nice recovery, and here's the difference between that old fart Chuck and me and you is you're a young guy and you change that thing in the blink of an eye. Where I would have said,
somewhat prepared.
No. This is going to be good. I'm telling you, this is good. This is good for the show. So anyway, check out Chuck Bowser. Let's talk about cabling. There's a little plug for you. Okay. Chuck, you owe me lunch next time we get together. Jason's going to be on Chuck's show here pretty soon. Yep. If you want to contact me out there, folks, for any particular reason, whether it be labeling or my experience, or if you need some bad advice, I got lots of free bad advice. Please reach out to me, or Jason. I think I mentioned that already. But anyway,
and if I get stumped, I'm going to reach out to you too. So we all work together.
Just don't reach out to me today. I'm busy. I'm busy the rest of today. I got plans, and we talked about that before the show. So
you better make that appointment, or you're not going to be happy.
The appointment. That's right. Oh, inside joke. Anyway, it will involve that maybe. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, thank you very much, Jason, for taking your time out of the day to come on the show and to be us, which is Brother Solutions. All right. It could mean something else. And I think that's why I got in trouble one time, as I mentioned something else. But anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. We'll talk soon. We always go back and forth, and I think this show is it's going to be a doozy, man. So you take care of yourself and stay healthy and stay warm up there. All right. We'll see you around.
Thank you, sir. Talk to you in a bit.
All right. Thank you very much, Jason, for coming on the show, and appreciate all your efforts out there and testing various tools and giving your honest opinion. So anyway, appreciate your effort. So next show, Thursday, March 28th, 10 a.m. Pacific, we have Mr. Matt Apfel on here. He is the Assistant Director of Training at the Electrical JATC of Southern Nevada. Say that fast 3 times. So anyway, we're going to talk about the industry as a whole. And it's not going to be so much focused on labeling. It's going to be the industry and how you get in the industry and what you need to get all trained up. And, I talk about the industry as a career. I mean, look at me, right? Well, maybe don't use me as an example, but anyway, it's the way to get in the industry. And so Matt is out there helping these young and old. It doesn't matter how old you are, right, to get in this industry. But anyway, he's helping these folks. And so it's going to be a really good show. So I hope to see you then. And again, mark your calendars for Thursday, March 28th. And if you haven't signed up for the Morse code email, we send these out every 2 weeks, and they're funny. I put my own little Toddy twist on there, and we're getting some really good response out of that. And again, some of it is labeling, some of it is industry updates, some of it is industry as a whole. But again, contact me if you want to sign up, or go to bswithtodd.com, and there's an area you can sign up right there. So anyway, with that being said, I want to thank each and every one of you, and I hope to see you in the near future. Take care, y'all. Have yourself a good week.